Hey, it's Mikey Arugula here. All right, and you guys know probably that I've been collecting Beatle memorabilia for over 60 years. That means I'm a little bit of an older kind of guy. I was there when the Beatles first came to America. Of course, I was a young boy. But in my collecting of Beatle memorabilia, I'm out there searching for the holy grail of Beatle collectors. And I think tonight I found another, and a nice way saying it, a screwball like me. Okay. Now, I want to introduce you to Gus Lopez. Gus, say hello, man.
Yeah. Hey, Mikey. Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
It's awesome to do this.
So Gus is really, he's a Star Wars, major Star Wars collector. All right. But I'm not going to go into the Star Wars tonight. It just so happens that Gus is also a Beatle collector, a Beatle memorabilia collector. Now, Gus, why don't you tell him, first of all, the type of Beatle memorabilia that you like to collect?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for asking, Mikey. For Beatles stuff, for me, it's like I've been a fan since I was younger, and I just dabble in it. In going to collectible shows, I buy what I like, which I think many collectors should do. And where my tastes have really focused heavily is really on food collectibles. I just love that stuff because it's obscure. It has weird nostalgic brands. It's also really fun for thrill of the hunt. So that's probably where I concentrate the most in. But I also buy weird oddball things here and there for the Beatles. But really, food collectibles where I concentrate in.
And when did you start this journey?
It's really hard to pin a date, to be honest. As a collector, I'd say officially consider myself a Beatles collector about 15 years ago. But, I started buying things, I'd like the Yellow Submarine lunchbox and the Corgi and stuff in like the early 90s. So I was picking up things along the way, but really in earnest starting to build up and again, for me, it's always been a side collection, but really like about 15 years ago when I really started to do it more seriously.
And Gus, when did you actually first hear about the Beatles?
Oh, I mean, as a little kid, I first heard about them, but I really I'd say about age 13 is when I started to buy the records and also 8 tracks. But then, and when I was a teenager, I was really into the Beatles. I went to Beatle Fest in the late 70s. So I was, when it was then called Beatle Fest. So I was really into the Beatles starting at that age, and I never stopped. I've always been into the Beatles. First as a fan, later as a collector, but I always just loved them as a band.
Right. And by the way, I want to thank you for wearing a Mikey shirt. Okay?
Yeah. Love this thing. It's a great shirt. And it's long sleeve. I love long sleeve shirts. They're like the best.
I'm wearing mine too, guys.
Yeah,
I got to promote myself a little. So
they're great shirts.
If I don't promote myself, no one's going to do it. So, but I appreciate you wearing that thing for me today.
So great.
Gus created a little video to showcase some of his items. So what I'd like to do first is play that for everybody. And then from there, we're going to turn it off. And Gus is actually going to show us some of the stuff. I have some things also that Gus may have, may not have, but we're going to stick to kind of the food, Beatle memorabilia collectibles, food-related stuff today. So let me put this on, and let's see if it works out.
Welcome. This is the first time ever that I'm giving a video tour of my Beatles display cases. Can't believe I've never done this before, but I just very recently unpacked a lot of my Beatles stuff and put them in these display cases. So hope you enjoy it. This first case has a number of Yellow Submarine items. It also includes a number of food items, because I love the food items, but like I see the Rice Hummings box here, the Love Puppet, Premium, John. I want to find the other ones, of course. Jeremy, France, and Toy. It's pretty cool, very obscure. Candy cigarettes. I love these plush toys, the Winnies. I want to find the rest in that series. Appears to be like a bootleg toy from the 60s. But some classics too, like the Lunchbox and This one's really cool. The Zucaritas cereal from Mexico. They did an ink water premium. That just don't know much about this promotion, but apparently they also had a cereal promotion in Mexico. And then and here you got another Rice Honeys box. This one is sealed, which is unbelievable.
I like that one.
Sealed boxes.
Yeah.
A few sealed boxes.
That's a
Beatles
fun one.
cereals turned out before. This is a printing plate for ads in the paper that they
This is
had.
the hanger and the sealed packaging.
Computers.
Hangers.
I see those hangers in the package, man.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
So you'll see some Rice Krispies boxes, 2 different Beatles Rice Krispie boxes, a poster showing the RC Cola and Sheriff Chips promotion done by Chum radio station in Toronto, and some of the bottles related.
And we'll get into, I think, a lot of the stuff in this case, because this is all the food stuffs in this.
There, I wonder. Well, the answer's back there. There's the flyer that Chum did.
Yeah, I see that. That's great.
That was
Yeah,
1964.
yeah, I'll definitely talk through that because there's some interesting finds there.
There's a lot of weird food-related stuff here. There's the German cookies, you often see them.
That's my favorite right there.
Here's
Yeah.
That you have the cookie.
Yeah, the cookie.
Yeah. That's, believe it or not, is that's a big one.
Yeah.
6-pack ice cream bars. Love the Sergeant Pepper coasters, beer coasters, the jelly glasses. I don't have all of them. I'm missing a few of those. 4-pack of the ice cream bars. Different potato chip pieces like the Eskimo fish fingers, header card, quick cans, Ringo roll. So yeah, you see a bunch of different things here. Over here are some just other vintage pieces like the John and Paul hangers, Lux soap, classic, and of course Flip Your Wig, the MBE, of course, not a Beatles MBE, but it's a nod to the Beatles. Capitol Records employee gift they had. It has like Sgt. Pepper on another 1967 albums on it. I love the Beatles talc because it's got the very early Beatles logo with the antennas on it. And just got little Apple Records and Beatles on different faces of the cube. And then of course the inflatables. And
I want to ask you about that Apple logo in the back later.
Yeah. Happy to get into it.
A couple ads, one advertising Kellogg's Rice Krispies and another for Sayers Cakes. This was an ad in a Liverpool newspaper where you could get a Beatle cake with one of the Beatles images printed on the cake. So hope you enjoyed that. First time ever showing it to anyone. Thanks.
All right, beautiful, man, beautiful.
Yeah.
So look,
Thanks.
that was a great summary of some of your items, man. And before I forget, you had the Apple Records crate logo, it looked like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was that the sticker by itself?
That's right. That's the stick. I have the crate also with the dividers, but that's the sticker that's unaffixed to a crate. So
I want to show you something. I always show this off because this is one of my rare items. So I have the crate, but I also have the shipping box.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
In other words, the records went in this thing. Now I have a feeling your label was for this.
That's probably right. Yeah. It's probably for the shipping box.
Do you remember how you got that label?
I tried to remember who I bought it from. It was one of the prominent dealers. I'd have to go dig it up, but it was one of the prominent Beatle dealers that had it. It was like an unused label.
A real rare item, like that box that I just showed you. The crate is hard enough to get with all the dividers, but
totally. Yeah. No, and I've not seen that box. I've never seen the box for sale ever. I've seen the crate a couple times, but and sometimes the crate's missing the dividers.
He has the box that the crate came in.
Wow. Okay. Well, of course he does. Yeah. He's got an amazing collection.
When I went to Chicago Fest last year, when I did the interview with him, I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I noticed that he had the box for the crate. Okay, which
Yeah.
is cool. Cool.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I hope he
but
sets up this year. Would love to see what
you
he
know
brings
what?
out.
I looked at the magazine. I don't see
Yeah,
his name in it. You
yeah,
know, I
yeah.
don't know if
Maybe
he's
he's
doing it. He did it
yeah.
all
Oh, that
these
would
years, but
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. Hope
it's
he
a lot
does.
of effort to move that stuff. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
must be.
I want to give you a round of applause. Your cases are very neat and organized. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
I try. They sometimes get cluttered over time, but yeah.
no, you do the right thing. Now I'm the exact opposite. What happens is
Yeah.
when I open up a few boxes, I don't want to leave it laying out, and I kind of not that anybody's going to steal it, but I want to know that it's kind of locked away. So I just throw it behind the glass, and they're all piled up like a bunch of crap. Okay, it's I need to like take time, but the problem is I don't have time. You know,
Yeah, yeah, I totally can relate. Yeah, yeah. I mean, but my Beatles stuff was pretty crammed in before, so that was only recent. I was like, it needs more space, so I started to free up some cabinet space to start to let it breathe a bit more because it was getting crazy. But I know what you mean. I have some stuff that just gets packed into cases, and it's like, all right, I'm not getting to enjoy this stuff. I need to bring out some more of the stuff. You never have enough space. You always run out of space.
you're an organized collector. You're not a clutterer. Because I
Yeah, yeah,
saw also how you display your Star Wars.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it's like a museum.
I
Okay.
try to
It's
do it that way. Yeah. I try to do it
yeah,
elegantly as best as I can, given space constraints. But yeah, I do
yeah,
spend a lot of time and money on everything, framing and nice acrylic cases and all that stuff to just
right.
really, because you want to enjoy it. I want people to see it and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's another thing that's nice about you, Gus. That first, not only are you doing this with me, but
Yeah.
it's my understanding you enjoy showing in person people things, right?
Yes. That's right. Yes.
You don't hesitate. There are collectors out there that uh, they don't they don't let people into that little world of theirs, you know? Like it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like they don't want to be anybody to know who they are, and it's kind of like for me, it's about sharing it with you and everybody who also watches this video. You know,
I totally agree. And and there's a great point. Like, I think collecting is I mean, everyone decides what they want to do. It's to each their own, but I think it's a social hobby.
yeah,
I mean, I think that by interacting, it just creates a much better experience as a collector. You learn so much from other collectors. I love what you and other people do and getting out there and talking to other collectors and bringing it out. I mean, I do that in all my collecting. I've always done that for many years. I think it's an important part. Obviously, you can't have everyone at your home all the time and all that. And I understand people being private, but there are ways you can get around that by like sharing it online as you do.
yeah.
So I think it's an important part of collecting, but other people, I guess, decide to make
Listen,
different decisions.
what I like is I made a lot of friends. Like now I have another friend in the state of Washington because that's
right.
where
Yeah.
Gus is in the state of Washington. And I'm on the East Coast, for you guys who don't know, in the New York area, although with my accent, you usually know right away. Gus, so I am anxious to see if you have it, the cereal boxes.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so everybody who knows Mikey knows that my bucket list is to get the Rice Krispies, okay? That Rice Krispies, I think you have two of them.
I do. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So you better not let me near your house, man. Good thing I'm on the East Coast. Because I want that Rice Krispies. And so show me these right. There you go. So let's get it a little closer to the camera. The front says higher up, top pop of the morning, right?
Yeah.
Beatles. So turn it around. Let's see what it looks like.
And then you see the back.
Nice.
And I think I have
empty or filled.
It's empty. It's empty. Although the bottom has not been it's not been a collapsed box. Only the top's been opened.
Beautiful.
But it's a really good condition box. It's got some wear, but for a box of this vintage, it's actually really in good shape. I mean, I love cereal boxes. I've collected them for years. But I have found other back panels to this cereal box
Yeah.
before cut out, but intact boxes
No,
just,
I don't want
you
to
don't
cut
see
out,
many of them.
man.
Yeah,
I don't want to cut out. I don't want to
you want the
collapse
box. Yeah.
Okay. I want
Yeah.
it like it's sitting on my breakfast. Now,
Yeah.
everybody, this is a British box.
It's a
right?
British box. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
They
you
never
see
made one in the
the
US.
mail-in offer, it shows like Manchester, England,
Right.
so that's where the mail away offer for actually that's for a different offer. It's not the Beatles offer but the Beatles offer is here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that one's a so they actually have 2 mail away offers on this, but anyway, so that's this Rice Krispies box. And
now
then
let's see the other one.
There's another one.
Yeah.
And this one you wouldn't even think is a Beatles box from this side of it, but it's actually the side panel has the patch offer. So, one of the things that's interesting about the Beatles is on food items is a lot of the premiums are things that are available through other channels, right? Like, so this patch, of course, is available, I think it's a fan club patch.
Yeah.
And many of the premiums and you'll, with the other food promotions are things that were either available in retail or available through other channels or other food promotions. But yeah, it's basically a side panel offer. But that's really the only place where Beatles is mentioned on this Rice Krispies box. And this box isn't.
What's on the
back?
back?
The back of the box is just how to make Rice Krispie treats.
Right. Yeah.
so there's nothing really. I mean, it's a cool box, but
it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, it's not as good a condition. I mean, the top panel is cut from it, so it's not as good a condition as the other box.
One back up for me. I want to ask you a question. Although I don't know if you know the other one.
The other one, yeah.
Did you get that on eBay? That one?
No. So this one I got from Trax.
Okay.
And this one I got in a heritage auction.
All right. The reason why is that there was a buy it now for that first one. Okay?
Oh, really? This one.
And it was $5,000. And
wow.
I made a mistake. Okay. On these buy it nows, you got to pull the trigger. Okay.
Yeah.
I wrote to the guy and I said, would you take 4? Next thing I know was gone. Okay.
Oh.
I always regret it because, it is a lot of money. But this is like a real, you're not going to find it too often.
No. Yeah. I mean, that's when eBay introduced buy it now years ago, but when they did, it was this tax on my nervous system because it was like, it's bad enough with auctions, but at least with auctions, like you put in your bid and then you go away. With buy it now, you're like, man, I got to be checking eBay now constantly because I have so many things where somebody lists it and it gets sold within seconds of when it got listed.
Yeah, I want to show you something that I got on a buy it now, which is related to you. So you have the John puppet, the hand puppet, Yellow Submarine. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I got these 2 on a buy it now, not too long ago. All right.
Wow.
And once again, I learned my lesson. Okay.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
I'm not going to tell you what I paid, but I stole these things, man.
That's awesome.
Okay?
Look at those.
These things, this is what, this is like you have the John, right?
Yeah. The John. Yeah.
We all want to collect all 4 of these things, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, Mikey and Gus would like the ones that still have the candy in them. Okay.
Of course.
We would like to find a few that have the candy. But at least we want the full set. At first, I wasn't as excited about these things. Really, I just knew it was something to get. But as I talk to more and more collectors like you, I realize I'm lucky to have these 2 guys.
They are super. That's a great find. And that set it's one of my favorite. I love it because it's this sort of Yellow Submarine, and it's just and they're just amazing. Congrats on that. That's a great buy it now find.
Also, they're big. They're big.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge.
When you first see it, you don't realize the size of them, but they are pretty big.
They're awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and on cereals, I'll show you. I don't know if you want to see. This
I
is
want to see. Yeah, the yellow
the rice
subs.
rice honeys. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people get fooled. They're repros of they're actually
Yeah.
repros of the Rice Krispies, by the way. Um, but they're pretty obvious. The Rice
Yeah.
Krispie repros are. I actually sometimes order repros of boxes I already have, just so I have reference for people if they ever ask me. So actually,
Yeah.
I have repros of the boxes I have originals of as well. But the I know how to tell the repros from the originals, but this is an original, of course, of the Rice Honeys. And I don't have a wheat honeys, but I do have again, I agree with you. Like I want the original, not just the cutout box, but I have the box front cut out. I also have a box back cut out, but I'm looking for one of these. But these were the two that came out for Yellow Submarine in the US.
No, I
back,
have only the repros on those. That's all I have is the repros. Now I happen to, as you know, I've introduced you to somebody who I call the Beatle hoarder. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know in his boxes somewhere he has some cereal boxes. Okay.
Yeah.
And since you already have them, I've already told them I got first dibs on those.
Yeah.
But
hope you find them. Yeah.
But I'm a guy that I tell everybody I can't buy everything. Okay. But if I ever find in that pile of boxes in that house the Rice Krispies, man, Mikey's getting it.
Yeah. If I see a Rice Krispies, I will let you know because I have one now. Yeah. And it's a really nice one. So if I see another one, I will let you know. I know you're looking for the wheat honeys has been the bane of my existence for years. I've been looking for that wheat honeys. And there was one on eBay not that long ago that somebody bought on a buy it now for dirt cheap. And I wrote the seller and I said, is that the only one you have? And because I said, look, I've been looking for one for years. And they said, no, it's the only one I had. And then they asked me, I didn't want to go there, but they asked me, why, what were you willing to pay? And I said, you really do not want to ask me because I was willing to pay like over 20 times what they sold it for. And I didn't tell them what I didn't tell them what I
Did you keep the guy's number though? Like his
I have their contact info. Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Yeah. I could try to see if they find out who bought it and all that. But it was like, oh man, like this thing I've been looking for. It turned up in my search, but it was sold instantly. It was like it was one of those buy it now.
You got to be there at the right time.
Got to be at the right time. So another Yellow Submarine thing is the cereal premium from Mexico.
Right.
So it was an ink blotter from Zucaritas cereal in Mexico. And I haven't found the exact box it was promoted in Mexico, but I did find a period Zucaritas, which is unbelievable to find this. This is a 1968 Zucaritas cereal box from Mexico.
I have that blotter. I do have that blotter.
Oh, you have that? That's cool.
Where it is, but I have it. It's not because it's not big. It's not big. Okay.
It's not big. No.
But what I'm trying to understand is, it had to come in the box, right?
It had to come in a box, and it had to come in a bigger box than this because it doesn't fit in this. So, but don't know much else other than this premium that obviously associated with the cereal, but that's cool that you have it. You're the only other person.
Let me see the back. Can I see the back? There's nothing on the back, right?
Yeah, there's nothing on the back. It was just from the era where you had ink blotters and people would do it to like for their pen to test their pen or whatever.
I wanted to see your back because when I find mine again, I want to compare it to your back.
Yeah. I'm happy to do that with photos as well. Blue background. Yeah.
So show me some more of the goodies you got, man.
All right, cool. Well, let's talk about here. One of my favorite food promotions is, of course, this one. Yeah. The one the Toronto one from
and that goes
RC
like this. And I know you have the label, right?
Yeah.
Like I do.
The label, yes. And I have the label.
And you also have this, I noticed. You have the chum.
Yeah, the chums. Yeah.
That talks about it on the inside.
Yeah. And one thing I want to show you about
on this side right here, everybody, see?
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. And so this is the display poster for it. And it has the 6-pack of RC Cola.
Yep.
And it has the Sheriff's Chips thing. The bag of Sheriff's Chips. Now,
and that's the thing. That's the thing that both of us are looking for.
Yeah, that's
That
right. Yeah,
we
Yeah.
can't find the potato chip bag.
the potato chip bag. I mean, what's crazy about that? What I think is crazy about sheriff's chips is, or sheriff's chips. I'm not even sure how you pronounce it, but like they did, like seems like thousands of like ice hockey and baseball off like
Yeah. And you can
promotions in
find the
Canada.
cap. You can find
You
the
found the
circle.
caps. And I have found online images of the bags. I sent you, Mikey, I sent you images
Yeah.
of the bags. Like they're on, like there are people that have the bags, but the bags like never come up
Yeah.
for sale. Like they just are impossible to find. I found like a store display that I just for laughs just got one of the store display signs. So I have something from Sheriff, but which is kind of fun. But yeah, the bags just don't come up. But yeah, also on the, so yeah, you have the chums thing, and it has but what's interesting that you might not be aware of, so if you look at this, if you look closely at the 6-pack, one thing that I think some people don't realize is, and I have the 6-pack over here, and if I put, here's the insert in the 6-pack, so you got the 6-pack and the insert, okay, but every 6-pack I have seen for sale, like in auctions or in, on private collections, have the wrong bottles and the wrong 6-pack. So Canada got RC Cola, I think in like the late 50s, and Canada had a unique kind of bottle that, the Netherlands and I think a couple other countries had this style of bottle, but you see the bottle with the kind of oval shape design there. So a lot of the bottles
like
that you
the ones I have here are not
the diamond
oval.
ones. They're right. They're the diamond ones, which they had in Canada in the late 60s, and they had in the US during all the 60s.
Right.
And if you look at the Chums flyer, and if you look at the
what are they, round?
poster, yeah. If you look at the photo there,
yes, I see. It's kind of like an emblem.
Yeah, that they match these bottles. And it turns out, so I did a bunch of research on these, but it was really weird. Like here, I'll pull out one of the bottles because I'm gonna end up dropping the 6-pack I keep holding. But yeah, basically the bottles are like this. They say like Royal Crown Cola on one side, and they say RC on the other side. And so in the poster, in the Chums flyer, and also on the insert, they say, I guess the insert doesn't picture it, but they have this kind of bottle, and these bottles are really hard to find. So I reached out to like RC Cola collectors. I reached out to Canadian bottle collectors, and they can't even find these bottles. Like they have a hard time finding these bottles. But I have
now I know I got to get those bottles.
Yeah, and I'll talk to you offline about. I have a couple spares of bottles, but I'll talk to you offline about it. But they're really tough. And I haven't even found, they actually have also the carrier. This is the wrong carrier. So this is
I have three
this is actually
carriers.
Yeah, the carrier, the carton carrier that's pictured in the flyer or in the Chums flyer and in the poster.
Yeah, what is it? Which one is it?
It should look like this. It should look like the logo on the bottle. And this thing exists. So? This actually exists. I don't have one.
Really? I've never seen that.
Yeah, there's a Canadian carrier, and I know at least one person who has one, but I don't have one. But it should match. It basically should match this logo. But anyway, every sale I've ever seen of one, every collection I've ever seen of one, has the wrong bottles. so
you know what? You're right. Like the Heritage and all those guys.
Yeah.
And I didn't get mine on Heritage.
Yeah.
But the point is that I matched it because I saw it on the Heritage ad.
Yeah, and everyone has for years. I think they always had, this carton, which is an easy. They had this carton in Canada in the late 60s, but it wasn't in 1965 when they did the promotion. And I'm just sort of like a crazy collector that like chases it down. Okay, 1965 Canada. Why are people turning up bottles and carriers that don't match the ad? That's weird. And then I find, okay, I asked the RC Cola collectors. They're like, yeah, because they had different bottles and carriers in 1965. Okay, well, who has them? And I find out, oh yeah, they did actually have the kind in the photo. But yeah, if you go down the rat hole, the rabbit hole of the Chums promotions, I then started to like investigate them. So Chum was a radio station in Toronto, and they did other promotions. So in 1964, if you can see that, they did a different. So every year when the Beatles would come around to Toronto, they do like a food promotion. So the previous year they did one with Hostess potato chips and Canada Dry. So it wasn't Sheriff's and RC Cola, it was Hostess potato chips. Now, a lot of these promotions, other than the insert's the only time they actually put a Beatles thing on the product. Most of the times it was just the flyer and promotional posters. But I, you know, I'm like crazy about that stuff. So I tracked down, like Hostess potato chips from the 60s from Canada. There's like Canadian potato chips from Canada. So I just had to get it because it was just, I was on the
And that's
Chums
the thing that's on the Chums, right?
That's on the Chums from And it was there. I was like, okay, it has to be from Canada. It has to have the type. Hostess potato chips has a certain typeface in that era of the 60s in Canada. So I was like really getting down to like really hard to track that stuff down. And then I found like Canada Dry 1960s Canadian Canada Dry 6-pack. So you know, it was again, it doesn't have Beatles on it, but I wanted to find the food products that were on the Chums flyer, and so I was like tracking that down. And then
you're in the state of Washington now. Wasn't there an RC Cola for like Seattle?
Seattle had RC Cola poster. Yeah.
Now, what was the 6-pack on that?
Well, there was. I don't think they did a 6-pack thing for it, as far as I know. I don't think they did. And then, I think they only did the 6-pack thing for. I think that was only for Toronto, as far as I know. And maybe, well, actually, I take that back. I heard there's an insert for Seattle. I've not seen it yet, but I heard there might be one.
Seen it. No.
And then Chums for 1966 did a Dad's potato chips. Dad's Cookies. Dad's Cookies, okay. Which is a prominent brand. You can search for it. It still exists today. Yeah. But I haven't found one yet, a box of Dad's Cookies from the 60s. But it's another thing so every year the Beatles would come around, Chum radio station would do another food tie-in with the Beatles. So that's another one that's out there. So anyway, it didn't stop with the Sheriff RC Cola one. They did one like every year that the Beatles went on tour.
Right. So, yeah, very good, man. I love it. It. And you're obsessed with finding the actual correct correct thing that all ties together.
Yeah. And I'll talk to you offline about the bottles, but that was
very nice.
An adventure. Yeah.
So I wanted to show you something. Once again, it's not 60s, but it's late 60s. Once again, it's Beatle related. I don't know if you saw this. I have the good news.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I totally know what the Savoy truffle box.
Okay. Marmalade Mod, Savoy truffle, all the candies. Right. This is a hard thing to find. All right. A little box like this.
Wow.
I thought it would be someone like you would appreciate it. The Macintosh Good News.
That is awesome. And it
That's
probably has
a weird item, right?
That is a weird. Yeah, I do not have one. That is something I want to someday find. They do not turn up very often. And aren't there like a bunch of there's a bunch of chocolates in there, right? From the song, right? It's not just Savoy truffle. It's other
ones. Candy. Is cream tangerine. Okay. Yeah. Is the candy that's in the box.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Every one of those things that he mentions, including the Savoy truffle, if you go online, you'll see which one is which. All right.
Yeah.
There's a bigger box than this, but I've never found it.
Wow.
Now the trick for me has been on eBay. I don't search Beatles. Okay.
Yeah.
I will search Macintosh chocolate. All right. Because I'm hoping someday. In other words, which is how I found that. Just like when I wanted, once again, this is a newer item, but as you know, Ben and Jerry has the John Lennon pint. All right.
Yes.
When I wanted that, if I searched Beatles, it's not showing up. I found the guy that has a Ben and Jerry collection. I bought 39 pints for the purpose of getting the
you avoid
Lennon
the Beatles tax that way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because the Beatles, as soon as you mention Beatles, there's a premium. You know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. All right, so show me some more goodies.
All right, let's see. Let's do. I have some ice cream stuff. Let me grab.
Good.
Well, actually, no. Let me do the cookie thing because you'd mentioned the cookie thing. So let's do that. So usually the German cookies, you see these are the labels that go on the cookies.
I have a label. That's all I have, like that.
Yeah, and I have a few sets of labels, but this is I have it in Ziploc because some of this stuff is kind of. But yeah, this is actually the cookie. The cookie's actually in shrink wrap, but it's and somebody I posted.
That's unbelievable.
That's
What's
and
the history of fun? Where'd you find that thing?
I actually got it from Phil Harbor, who sold it to me.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
so if Phil sold it to you, that means he has to have a few of them, right?
I don't know. It might be the only one he had. I think he might have just been. I'm not sure. It might be the only one he had.
Sell that for. He's gonna watch this video. A matter of fact, Phil just called me today. He wants those puppets. Okay.
No, I'm sure he does. I know he loves those puppets. He and I have talked about the puppets before. He's a fan of. Yeah.
You know what it is? It's not like I don't want to give it to him. It's just that I want to help find another one for him because I'm not in the business of selling anything, you know?
I know he loves Yellow Submarine stuff.
But
the cookies are fun. Let me get.
That's a crazy one. I love that.
Yeah, I love it too. It's just so weird. All right. So ice cream. All right. So I got some ice cream stuff out. Okay. So let's start with. Of course, you have some probably some of these, but we've talked about, of course, the ice cream boxes.
I only have the same box that you have right there.
Yeah. But there's the 4-pack and 6-pack boxes.
By the way, I just want to ask you something because I can't tell.
Yeah.
Is my lettering coming out backwards or is it?
No,
correct?
that's just for you. So that's how they when you're that's so because it would be. If it showed you what I'm seeing, it would be weird, right? Because your left would be. It shows you the mirror, so
as long as I know when I put it up, it's right. Because yours, I can read.
It looks normal. Yeah, it does that on
yeah.
purpose so that it looks natural to you. So mine looks backwards to me, but I know that you're seeing the right thing. But yeah, there's a 6-pack and a 4-pack box, but they, as probably some of the listeners know, like there are a ton of brands that they did these with, right? Hood is probably the one that people know about, but it was like there was Townhouse, Gilbert, Carnation, Hood, Alking, American Creamery, Frosty Products, Townhouse. There were a bunch of brands that sort of use these boxes. Only Hood was the only one that that had like a prominent logo on the boxes, but the others just the brand was usually on the side.
Creamery, American Creamery.
Yeah, American Creamery was in Oakland, and then the one I have here is Alking Enterprises, which was in Los Angeles. But they're like in different cities, right? Like Carnation was Los Angeles, Gilbert was Seattle, Frosty Products was Chicago. So like there are a whole bunch of different, and I'm not even sure if they had like one like parent company that owned all these. I haven't researched it. This would be like a good like Terry Crane question or somebody who really knows. But basically they were all sold, in the US under these different brands, and they have different versions of the boxes. And let's see, as you know, also there's some store displays, of course, for the promotions. Like there's a Beatle bar. This is like a shelf dangler, small store display. I have a store sign. This is like a supermarket specific sign. So like Atlas supermarkets.
Atlas grocery store in what part of the country? Do you know?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. I should look it up. 54th and College Avenue, wherever that is. So somewhere that is. Okay. And then some of the this is the more common wrapper.
I have a good one of these.
Yeah, and I have I think I have that version coming in that eBay auction that was this week.
Right.
And then I have another foil, a different foil one here. The foil ones, as you know,
That's a nice big one. That foil one.
yeah, that's a good one. That's different. I don't know which one it is to look at it closely. Frosty, that's a Frosty product one. So Frosty was a Chicago one.
Mine is a crunch coated ice cream.
Okay, and the company
should.
Mine's crunch coated, but at the top it says Frosty Products of Chicago, and I think the one you have is similar to the one in that
you're going to
eBay
be
list.
getting.
Yeah, that I'm going to be getting this week.
Mine doesn't say anything on the back other than it says Al King Enterprises.
Yeah, Al King would be that's a LA, that's a Los Angeles one. Yeah, that's just the So yeah, I think that similar to the boxes, they just put the company name at the top. But the foil ones, as you know, are like super hard, surprisingly super hard to find. But I think it's more that the other one, that other wrapper, that just rolls of those were found, and they're just
someone found rolls and started cutting them up, and they probably still have the rolls because every once in a while you see a few of them coming out.
Yeah, I have a roll. Not very many wrappers, but I have a roll of like a couple dozen wrappers on a roll. That
I saw that in your case, I think, in your display.
Yeah. And then here are a couple other ice cream things. So in the UK, so they had a brand called Mr. Softy, and they did a series of so they had like different rock and roll bands and pop bands. And so in like 1960, what year? 64, I guess. I'm trying to think. I think 64 and 65. Yeah, I think this was 64, and this is 65. And then the ones in the like Arctic suits are 65. These two are 64. And then they had these premiums, and then I've never seen wrappers or boxes for Mr. Softy, and I don't know, maybe the UK folks could chime in. Mr. Softy may have been like may not, I don't even know if it was retail or like ice cream delivery, like a ice cream truck thing, but they also did
like an ice cream truck.
Oh, ice cream truck. Okay, so maybe that's why.
And it was also soft serve.
That's right. They did. That's right. I know that because they also have Mr. Softy truck toys and stuff. So yeah, that's right. It was an ice cream truck. And then they had in 1968, they had like the Beatles from the Sgt. Pepper premiere photo where they're holding up the album. They have two versions of this. There's Mr. Softy and Lord Nielsen, so two different brands. So there's like the back, you see two versions of the card, two different ice cream brands that had the same card that year. So I guess a year after the premiere of the album, they did cards for that. And then one of the really cool things was Lion's Made, which was an ice cream brand in the UK. They also did like rock and roll like stamps, and you could basically they had this huge poster with different just different artists, and so they had like one with like they had other bands. They had the Monkees, they have the Beatles, and so you have on this they have like images of the Beatles down here. So this, you can find the stamps on eBay, like they're not hard to find, but I found somebody who had actually the whole poster.
Yeah, here's the Lion Maid's cards.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
And on the back it says Pop Stars.
And they did two different series, Pop Stars and Pop Scene. In 1969 they did, I think, Pop Stars. In 1970 they did Pop Scene. And then Pop Scene of course came out after the Beatles broke up. But they have like on the Pop Scene ones, they have like image of John and Yoko. They have somewhere Paul here. And you have some of those as well. Yeah. So there's just some cool obscure ice cream promotions, but kind of fun. But they also have other rock and roll artists there as well.
I wanted to show you before we forget. I have here something called Happy Aid. Do you know
Oh,
about
yes.
Happy Aid cards?
Oh, yes. I love Happy Aid promotion. Yes.
I don't know anything about it other than I have some cards that are called Happy Aid cards.
Yeah, it was a promotion in Australia. I don't have them out here. I actually don't have a full set. I have most of them. I think I have 6 of
I
the
have
8
4
cards.
of them.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, they're not easy to find. I'll check. I have a dupes of a couple of them, so I can let
What
you know
was Happy
offline.
Aid? What was it?
It was a drink in Australia, is what I know about it. So it was yeah, basically. But I need to ask like an Australian who's more familiar with the drink. But basically, all I know is it was a premium available in Australia in 1964, I think is the year that they had it. But yeah, if you're looking for some of the cards, I think I got 1 or 2 extras of the cards, and so
You know what I saw also? You had the chocolate stamps from Australia.
yes, I don't have it here, but I have the chocolate stamps. Yes,
I have the stamps too, but what we both want is the box, the blue box with the Beatles.
That's right.
On it. Okay,
That's right. Yes,
you don't have that, do you?
I don't have that. No, I don't have that yet.
And then there's also a display poster that I've seen that I don't know who has it, but I've seen pictures of it.
That's right. And there's yeah, and that's like the super fine Mick Robertson super fine chocolate. Yeah, there's a banner, and I want to say there's also there's like a Milk Bar header card that is the same brand, Mick Robertson's, but there's like 2 different displays I've seen of it. So I don't have either the displays or the wrapper, but the stamps you see once in a while. You do see the stamps from that. But yeah, the chocolate stuff is incredible. I know one thing you have I don't have yet either on chocolates is no, sorry, actually I was confusing it. Not chocolates, is gum.
Okay.
You have the Israel, you have the wrapper from
Israel.
Israel.
I have these. I don't have it here that I took out, but yes, I do. I wanted to ask you, do you know anything about what says Humpty Dumpty potato chips?
Oh yeah. I don't
all I have is this piece of paper.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It says it's a Humpty Dumpty Beatles. Humpty Dumpty Beatles contest. Look for coupons on Humpty Dumpty in a white hat to win 45 RPM records of the Beatles. And it says Humpty Dumpty potato chips.
Well, funny, I don't know about that promotion. I'd love to learn more.
I'll make a picture of it for you. It'll be another thing
that'd be great.
For.
Well, here's something funny. You know what I showed you before, the Hostess potato chip thing?
Yeah.
From Chum. Well, when the person sold me this container for potato chips, they actually didn't have the original top to it. And the top to it.
How do you like that?
Yeah, it's the same like, yeah. What a crazy coincidence.
The thing is, Gus, you didn't realize that top is related to the Beatles.
I did not know. I thought it was just a.
See, it paid to do it with Mikey, man. Here's the same guy over here, and it's a Beatle offering. It's a Beatle offering.
Yeah. Had no idea. That was like a crazy.
That's Canadian, right?
Yes, Canadian brand, yeah.
So here's the thing I can tell you. I think it's the French part of Canada. Because on here, there are things that are talking also in French, I believe.
Okay. I'll have to research that. I'll put that in my notes. That's
says
awesome.
Fantastique. Gagna or Fantastique. All right?
Yeah.
So something about that Humpty Dumpty, you and I just discovered something.
All right. Well, I'm going in September. I'm going to spend a few days at a convention in Toronto. I'm going to that's not the French part of Canada, but I'm going to spend a bunch of time while I'm there poring over antique shops and stuff, looking for Beatles stuff. And we're 3 hours from Vancouver. I can easily spend some time looking for that stuff there. But okay, so do you want to look drink stuff? I want to show you, and I know you probably
Sure,
familiar with
show me
these,
whatever you
but
want. Yeah.
the quick, I love
You
these
have a
things.
lot of quicks, though. I only have one. Now you have
Yeah.
the large. You have the large strawberry, and I have
I only,
a small one.
yeah, well, I don't know if I've heard they come
How
in
many
two
ounces
sizes.
is yours? How many ounces does yours say?
16 ounces. 16
Oh, that's
ounces.
what mine is. 16.
Yeah, I've heard they come in. Some people have said they come in two different sizes, but I've never seen it confirmed. I've only ever seen them in 16.
Beetle Don, who you've seen him maybe on my show.
Yeah,
He said
yeah.
there's a miniature quick.
That's right. I'd heard that, and I've not seen that in person.
I never
and then this
seen
is,
it.
of course,
He said there was a miniature one.
okay. And then the chocolate is an 8 ounce, and then of course on the back they have the Beatles blow up there. So these are, I love these. These are just awesome. I search all the time for like vintage quick containers. Again, like you do, search out, don't put Beatles in it, don't pay the Beatle tax. And there are people that collect, vintage food, but they never turn up by accident. If somebody knows it's a Beatles promotion, they're going to put Beatles in the listing. Other drink promotions, the Sergeant Pepper beer coasters.
Where do you think that came from? Do you know?
It was like a brand of beer from Germany.
Okay.
On the back that did it. I mean, according to the folks, I think I got it from Trax. Like, I mean, it's supposed to be a 1967, issued, coaster. So it's from that era. And if you go in Germany, they always have these different coasters. They're constantly making them. So it's from the period, is what I understand. So yeah, it's just kind of there's not that much pepper stuff, from the 60s when you think about it. You would think
I'm gonna listen once again. I can't tell you the date of this thing, but it's not like from like the last 10 years. You're gonna like this one, Sergeant Pepper goat milk cheese.
Whoa!
You see the Beatles there?
Yeah.
On the card.
Okay, I'll write
cheese
that one down.
is called Sergeant Pepper.
Well,
Sergeant Pepper gold. It must be pepper cheese in it. Pepper.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
That reminds me of a funny story. A brief story. I was in. So you might have seen. I did this. For fun. I decided to make this like Sergeant Pepper diorama out of Lego minifigures. Right. So I made this like. Took a bunch of Legos and put this thing together. So I was in this Lego store at Disneyland like a couple months ago, and I was having, they can custom print, like I had them custom print a Lego piece that said Sergeant Pepper on it, and they had this young woman working at the Lego shop, and she goes, "Oh, Sergeant Pepper. Oh, is that like Sergeant Pepperoni Pizza in Irvine?" And I was like,
there you go.
I was like, Sergeant Pepperoni Pizza in Irvine, but it reminded me of like your interviews you do with people that don't know the Beatles. But I was like, I don't think it's a reference to the pepperoni pizza place. But then I was like, I looked up this pizza place. I was like, I should go there. It's a Sergeant Pepper themed pizza place 10 miles from Disneyland. I need to check it out. But anyway, funny.
Listen, I collect, once again, not because it's worth anything associated with the name Beatles. By the way, I'm the guy who buys like the Japan Beetle batteries. Okay. In other words, people stick Beatles on anything, right?
Yes.
Well, like, this is not done on purpose in the old days. Like here I have Sergeant Peppermint, Sergeant Peppermint, Valentine's Day, it looks like. Be Mine, Why Not? There, I don't know if you could tell. It says Sergeant Pepper, though. Okay,
that's cool.
It says Sergeant Pepper, Lonely Hearts Club Band. It actually just says the whole thing.
Another one I have to look for. That's
cool. It's a candies.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay, one other drink thing I want to show you. So you've probably seen the Yellow Submarine. They did a Pepsi promotion for like greeting card, like a mail away offer, and you could let me show you. Like they're kind of, it was a UK promotion, and you got these like basically these greeting cards and classic, sort of yellow submarine creatures. That kind of thing.
I never saw the ad though for it.
Yeah, and so I have well, when you mailed away for it, you got a flyer, and you can see that had explained that it said here's your greeting card, and you could actually send away for more of them. And then this is the mailer. This is the mailer that the person received but I have a full set of the cards with the mailer and the letter that they got from Pepsi for that promotion.
The letter is what makes those cards good.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool thing to get the whole set together like that. So I love looking for stuff like that. Like one of the things, in a sort of Beatles adjacent, but that there was that Apple 45 record that was part of an ice cream promotion. Walls, right? Yeah, Walls, and you see that record you can find easily. But I never see it with a mailer, like you would think it would turn up. Yeah. It never turns up with a mailer. And I'm like waiting to find one with a mailer. I would just love to find one. It had to have been shipped in something. It was a mail away promotion, but I never find it.
Or the store promotion with Walls with ice cream? It was ice cream or what?
It was ice cream, yeah. But I'm pretty sure it was a mail away offer. Maybe it was a store promotion, but I always see it as just the 45 like that. But yeah.
That's pretty good, man. Yeah, we're on the same page with this stuff. I just wanted to show you. I saw you had the label because I like to show my stuff off. You're like the excuse for me to show this again.
Yeah, go for it.
I have the Ringo cookies.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And what's crazy is they still look like you could eat them. There's not any mold or anything. It shows you all the junk they put in these things because the cookies literally look like they're still edible. All right.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not a Beatle item. It's a Ringo item. All right. But Ringo, as far as I'm concerned, is a Beatle item.
I would collect it. I have a cutouts from the Ringos.
You don't have these lifesaver things, right?
I don't have the lifesaver things, but I
you don't really want it, right? This is.
I do. I would collect that stuff. Yeah, I totally would. Even though
we can do it straight on one of these. I got 5 or 6 of these things.
Yeah, you got all the different colors and
flavors.
Wow. Yeah. No, I totally into
and these
that
are
stuff.
all sealed. Yeah.
Wow, that's a great score.
Yeah.
No, I love that stuff because obviously they're like drawing from the Beatles' fame and naming the product after Ringo. So to me, that's Beatles related in my mind.
No, I think it's Beatles related, but I know there's collectors out there. If it's not official, they're not interested.
Yeah, but I've always felt like I don't know. I've collected a long time in other genres, and I've always felt like there are no rules to collecting. Like I've always written my own rules. Like there's no gatekeeping in my, I mean, I set my own rules. Other collectors set their own rules, and I try not to impose my rules on others, and I don't let them impose. You always define your own rules, So I collect what I like. So.
See, like that cake thing you have. I'm still thinking about the cake. The cake with that label on it.
I can't
believe he sold that, Phil, because that is really an oddball item. It's one of a kind. It's like you're not going to find that again.
Maybe he's got more of them. I don't know, but
So. I'm going to have to bug him. I got this thing, as you know, the Ringo roll. Okay.
Yeah. And what is that like that's like plastic bread in there, or what do you got in there?
It's not plastic.
It's real.
I can't tell you what it is. I'm not opening. I can tell you that.
Oh my God!
It could be stale bread for all I know.
Yeah. Because I got over
here. It's definitely not plastic.
Yeah. I've got Ringo roll, but it's just it's just on as you usually see it flat, but not that's. I love the way you have it though.
And I know you're looking for that poster. Hopefully, you'll be able to figure out how to get it.
Yeah. I would love to get the poster. I mean, I have done that though. What not with the real food, but some food items I do think display really well. Sometimes with the fake food, I've done it with my other collectibles where I've had produce and I put plastic.
This thing is the fake thing.
Yeah. Like that's cool.
They put the fake bar inside. You
Yeah,
know,
and there's like tons of those wrappers around, so it's not
Yeah.
like you're wasting wrappers. It's like those wrappers grow on trees, so you can totally do that. You know, uh,
but it
so
looks good that way. You know.
it does. I agree. I think that's a great way to display it.
Yeah, break out some more stuff. Show us.
All right, let's
Show
see.
those
Oh
people.
yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's not food. Do you have those hangers available or no?
I don't have them handy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the hangers, but I have the. I have some. Let's do some candy stuff.
Good,
So,
good man. Show
yeah,
me
so
the
I have. Yeah, so got of course the licorice. Box that
Right.
a lot of people have.
And these are the things that came in them, guys.
That came inside. Yeah,
These are the
and a lot of times
these are the wrappers that are inside that box.
And those things a lot of times found with the actual licorice still. I have a couple sets of them.
These
and
have the licorice in them.
and
These are
the smell.
these are gross,
They still have
man.
that smell. Yeah. But yeah.
Crazy.
They're crazy. And then let's see. So then I have of course the candy sticks with that promotion with the Ringo hand puppet.
I don't have the puppet. I don't have the puppet though.
Yeah, it's weird that the puppet seems to be an elusive thing, which you would think because most of the times with food collectibles, the premiums are common. The packaging is what's hard because people generally don't save packaging and they keep the toys, they keep the premiums.
Gus, here's the thing I don't understand.
Yeah.
It tells you on the box the hand puppet is inside the box, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But there's a winner guitar contest on this.
Yep.
What's the guitar? I never seen anything about that anywhere. What kind of guitar?
Yeah. I'm guessing it was one of the retail guitar products because with Beatles, it seemed, I don't know what the answer is, but I think often with Beatles, the mail away premiums were the same products that were like sold in stores. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the retail products, but it would be a great question. Yeah. For somebody who remembers the promotion. I don't know. I've not ever seen like a mailer with a guitar or anything like that. So I don't know the answer to that. It's a good
Gus,
question.
you both want the other boxes of the candy.
Oh,
There's the other boxes.
The little ones?
Well, the little candies, the big box, there's a few.
The big good. Yeah, I don't have those. Yeah, I would love to find that. Yeah, those are amazing.
No.
Yeah.
No,
those are cool.
Those are like a rare find, man. If we could find those.
I know. Those are sweet. Yeah. And I think there's like I want to say there's like, are there a couple different ones? I think there's a couple different ones.
Like
yeah. And then you showed earlier here's my mine I love the Jay Bellamy glove puppets. Those are
What
awesome.
is John called? What's the candies on John?
He's a Jelly Babies. He's Jelly Baby.
The Jelly Babies. Yeah.
And let's see. So then getting into really obscure chocolates. So there's this brand. Here, let me just pull this out. Hold on a second. So there's this brand from Spain called Chocolates Torres, which had this album with like different things from Europe. So basically the theme was Europe, and they had the Beatles like representing England, and they had this like stamp, and it went in this album. So they had like a spot for, let me see if I can find the spot, but it's like Beatles, I think, were 205 in this. So
see, I've seen that card. I've never bought it because I didn't really understand what it went with.
Yeah, it was just basically a premium for chocolate, and this is where the Beatles went.
Did the card come on the chocolate? You think?
Yeah, I think the card came with or the stamp or whatever came with the chocolate, and it would just you could order for this album, and then you'd put the Beatles
Very
here.
nice.
And I've seen you can find the albums with all the stamps, and in my other collecting, like one of the things I do is I search like country specific marketplaces. There's a lot of countries eBay isn't really the place people buy and sell. So for Spain, there's a I think it's Todo Colección is the site that where a lot of people in Spain. So that's where I bought this. And I've seen these albums. This is a blank album and a blank card, but like their albums filled with the stamps, so you can get all the European stamps. But yeah, but yeah, it was part of a promotion that the Beatles were included in that. And then there was another chocolate company called I think it's like Carlos Uno, or it was they had a 1967 calendar with like an older photo of the Beatles. It was obviously not from 1967, but they had, so that it's like a calendar, 1967 calendar, and they had it as a chocolate promotion. So there's just sort of an obscure thing that that they had. Hold on a second, let me. Yeah, I like finding these weird, and sometimes I find them by accident. Like they're not well known, Beatles food promotions. It's just sort of in my searches, it turns up and I go, what the hell is this? And then I just go down the rabbit hole of like learning about it, and then say, oh, okay, there was this weird chocolate company that did a promotion, and what can I learn about it? So,
and those are good because they're real vintage stuff. They're real vintage.
Yeah, they're vintage, and I mostly want to collect vintage. There's some more modern things I collect, like weird stuff. Like there are some cereal boxes that they did Beatles stuff later that I'll pick up, and then there's weird stuff. Like I picked up like
you
the
probably have this the cream.
Yes, I have the oatmeal packet. Yeah.
Right.
And
Paul on it.
With Paul on it, with the trivia. It's a good trivia question too. Like that, I bet you a lot of Beatles fans might not even get right about what's his middle name.
Right. Paul. Right.
It's Paul. It's actually Paul.
Another thing you have, which I don't have the box. So there's the John Lennon record off of the Quaker Oats. Okay.
Yes. The Imagine thing. Yes.
But I've never seen the entire box for that. Okay.
Yeah. I've been looking for that. I did not.
I have the record. I can't find out where it is. I did a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is, but I got it somewhere. But and it plays good. Okay, it actually has some of John's songs on it. No one told me, whatever it is. But it's a good. The record is good and it plays. But the box itself, I'm looking for. I can't find it.
Yeah. Some of those old boxes are brutally hard to find. I mean, for certain cereal boxes, certain boxes I look for, it's just a churn. Like I just like looking every week, sometimes for years. And what's weird about, I find with food promotions, and this is what makes it kind of fun in a weird way, is that when you find it, you can find it for cheap because like nobody else is looking for that thing, right? Yeah. But you have to spend sometimes years looking for that thing because it's it's just obscure, I had a couple more things I'll show you.
Good.
So let's go with this stuff. So the this promotion from the Eskimo fish fingers. This one I got the display, and they did this in for several years, 1964, 1965, and 1966. So they had basically, for different types of entree items, processed food items, they had card sets that they offered in different years. So they had like sets of like 4 cards of the Beatles for 1 year, and then the next year they did another set, and then they did another set for 1966, and there's
I've never seen. I don't think I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yes. So there's like 3 sets of cards of 4. And then there's this like really weird set of 4 of the cards together that a lot of people don't even know about this one. And then one of the, and I'm not even clear how that worked because, the cards came in the display. So you actually bought the product and you choose one photo when you bought the product. So you actually got the premium when you shopped at the supermarket. But I don't know how you got this one. It wasn't clear to me. I don't know if it says on the back, actually. Like it's Eskimo Foods, Fropax Eskimo Foods, which is the brand, but it's similar to the other cards. It's marked like the other cards. So I don't know, like maybe they had a display maybe somebody out there knows the background
Maybe
on
it
it.
came in a huge box of.
Yeah. Maybe
Now, by
that's
the
it.
way,
Maybe they had
here's the trivia question:
Yeah.
What Beatles song references finger pies?
uh, 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 Penny Lane.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is
All
like
right.
finger pie. I'm not
We
even
go
like
to the streets and we ask questions. Okay,
Yeah, no,
I
it's a
ask
good-
people questions and you get the Beatle Plus. The Beatle Plus.
Yeah, Beetle Plus. Yeah, fish and finger pie. Yeah, like I don't even know what kind of food that is. It's some British thing that I'm very
No,
familiar
it's
with.
what you just showed me. That's
Yeah.
the finger pie. It's the
I know,
fish stick.
I know, but it's like it's one that like is in the U.S. we're not as familiar with like that.
Now we call it fish sticks. That's all.
Fish sticks or something. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then of course this is the Yellow Submarine gum display. I just love this one.
This guy was selling these recently on eBay.
Yeah, actually, and this is my new upgraded one. I have another
Okay.
one that's not in this great condition, but I bought one from that guy that had the.
I think he's got one left now. He's got one left. I didn't buy
yeah.
I didn't want to break out the money for that one.
Yeah, and I found just yesterday I found another guy selling that display elsewhere for very cheap. Like somebody had it online for very cheap. So I don't know if there was
do me a favor. That I want to know offline.
Okay, I'll tell you offline about that one. Okay, I'll write that down.
That guy was I know what they were selling those things for, and I didn't want to pay that.
Okay, there was another one I saw just yesterday that was somebody had one for sale that came up. I was like, so yeah, that's a cool display. So let's see. I've shown a lot, and I think I've gotten through most stuff I set aside. I'm trying to think.
I wanted to show you a new item. You know, right?
Yeah.
See, once again, I buy everything, but if it's cool, I buy it. And this is like newer. When I say new, it's not last year, but you've seen this from Mexico.
Oh, no, I have not. Huh.
Okay, so this is, it says 90 stick of gum packages from Bondi Fiesta. All right. Now, this is within the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay. You could see this picture had to do with when the BBC came out, right?
Yeah. Huh.
Never opened. It's got gum in it. It's a Mexico package, totally licensed.
Cool.
That's a cool one, right?
That is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You seen this from Korea on eBay?
Oh yeah. I keep seeing that. I didn't know exactly what it was. I keep
It's
seeing
not a Beatle item, but they call it Beatles.
Yeah.
It turns out Beatles on here. Now look. I don't know if you could tell. There's a musician playing guitar.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
There's a person, like a thing playing a guitar, and it's a candy. But you can buy this right now on eBay for $5. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna need to get that. I keep seeing that in results, and I'm like, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah, and it was real. It's a real candy from from Asia that has in English Beatles.
That's awesome. That is totally awesome.
Let me show you this kooky thing. This thing was called Wacky Packages.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
You put these things together. There's the 3 of the Beatles for Abbey Road. And here's the 4th one.
Oh, wow. What's that? Okay.
In other words, the 3 packages together make up the Abbey Road. But it's like they're carrying like a hoagie. A hero.
That's cool.
So once again, this is newer stuff, but I'm always on the lookout.
I got a question for you. Have you ever seen the Yellow Submarine cookies from Burry's? Like Mr. Chips, Fudge Town, Gaucho, or Lickety Splits? I have never met a collector who had a full box. I've seen people who had the cutouts from it or had the flyers.
I didn't even know they existed till you mentioned it.
They made 4 different. They sold them on 4 different brands of Burry's cookie. Burry's Cookies was like a big brand. I mean, I
used to eat Mr. Chips. I used to eat Mr. Chips.
Mr. Chips, and you can find vintage boxes of those brands, but I've never ever seen a Yellow Submarine Burries, any of those Burries brands, and it was like a promotion. But yeah, I would love to find one of those boxes. It would be amazing, but I don't know anyone who has one. Yeah.
No. Because you're telling me some things I didn't even know they existed.
Yeah.
But there's always new items. That's another thing that's good about what we do. Just when you think you figured it out, like Mikey or Gus comes out of left field with something new.
Yeah, I know it is crazy. This many years later, that stuff gets discovered is insane. But that's what makes it fun, I think.
Yeah. So what else you want to tell me? Anything else?
No, I think we covered. I mean, I'm like looking around. Did we get through all the stuff I put? I think all the stuff I pulled out we've gotten through. I think, yeah. I mean,
what's your real you're on your list? I know personally there's some posters you're looking for.
Yeah, some definitely displays.
You gotta find.
Yeah, so some of them, so I'd say top of my list. So definitely a lot of displays for some of these promotions. Some of them I mentioned, the cookies, the Burries cookies, would love to find just even one example of one of those. The Jay Bellamy, the hand puppets, like those, the glove puppets, love to complete that set, and the display box. Wow, that'd be amazing. That's high on my list. Obviously getting, the Wheat Honeys box. So I would then think at that point, hopefully, then I'd have my cereal box set complete. Those are high on my list. There's always stuff to find in food. I mean, there's it's never ending. Those are, I'd say, the top things. I'd love to find a carton of that RC Cola. I mean, doesn't have Beatles on it, so you would think it would not be too crazy to find, but I'd love to find that Canadian carton.
I think you'll find that.
I think I'll find it eventually. I know a guy who has one. I'm talking to him to see if he can get me one. I've been finding the bottles slow and steady.
Right.
But the carton is tough. But so there's always stuff. Sheriff chip bag. I'm sure we'll eventually find them, but
we're both looking for that one. Now I know, I'll be paying a lot of money, or you will, because we'll be buying.
I don't know. I don't know if I would. Yeah. I would be crazy as one that said Beatles on it, but I don't think they printed Beatles on any of that promotion. I think it was just they had the inserts that they added. I think that was it. And then posters. They made some posters like the Canada Dry. I think the Canada Dry Chums thing also had a poster associated with it as well. I believe I've seen photos of that.
Right.
But yeah, there's so much stuff in the food related area that I want to find. Those would be some of the highlights. There's always a long list. Every week I go through a lot of searches, and of course I do regular eBay searches all the time. I'm just constantly scouring to find, and then as I learn about new things, I add them to my growing list of stuff I'm after.
Yeah.
So
and you never got into the trading cards, because that's a whole semi.
They're on my list. I have a lot of the trading cards. The gum is food, and so I do have some of that stuff. The thing with the trading cards for me is it's not a priority, because they're out there. It's sort of like I sort of go after with that I focus on the harder things, like some of the Yellow Submarine stuff.
You just made me realize something.
Yeah.
This is food related, and you know it. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
So the double bubble box.
Oh yeah.
Because that's gum.
That is cool.
Right?
I mean that's a great piece. Yeah, stuff like that.
That's a good item, right?
That's a great. I mean, if I see really hard to find gum related, I totally pick it up. So yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. That shipping, but I mean that's cool. I mean, I've mostly I've completed the Yellow Sub set. I want to get some of the boxes if I can find them. I pick them up. The plaques, I don't have a set of the plaques.
We want the plaque box, man. That's what
plaques
we want.
box. Yeah, I don't have that, but like, you know, the harder ones, but to me, like I haven't focused so much on the cards because they're around, you know, they're not super tough. The rack packs, you know, like things that are harder would be like but they're on my list, but not haven't been really a priority. But
Gus,
as you
tell
saw,
me
the
what
trading cards
this
I go
is,
after.
man. Tell me what this is, where it came from. I have no idea.
I have no idea. It's the first time I've seen it. It's like a
It's
with
a
the
metal
Beatles artwork.
tin. It could have held potato chips or something.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah. Do you know what era it's from? What year? Like any?
I have no idea. All I know is it's rusty as hell. It I don't think really it's 60s, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's more about, it looks to me, it's the picture of the 60s, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has
It's with the
autographs
Beatles
like
cover, but it's like,
but it looks
yeah.
more like a 70s item to me.
Yeah.
Right? But it's rusted out. You know, it's nothing glamorous. It's not a licensed item. Okay.
Yeah.
It's old. It's know, it had to have some kind of food to do with some kind of food.
Yeah, yeah. No, it probably is like popcorn.
It could be pretzels or something. A pretzel stick.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. No, that's cool. I've never seen that before though. Like
and this is local to New York. You saw it probably in my show. This
the Carvel. Yeah.
Oh, Carvel.
Yeah, I am very familiar with Carvel.
Oh yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Were you from
I grew
Jersey?
I grew up in New Jersey, so very familiar with the Carvel with was it called Whaley or whatever the
yeah the cake, right?
The cake, yeah.
Something the whale. Something the whale.
I thought it was Whaley. Maybe I got it wrong, but it was like the.
No, you might be right.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was a long time ago, but I remember the Carvel ads. They were so they were so distinctive. But yeah, the Carvel was famous. But so yeah, that what year did you say the Carvel piece was?
I would think
70s?
This is from the 70s. But if you notice on the top of the cake, it has a left-handed guitarist.
Yeah. Let me know if you ever see another one of those. That would be a cool thing to pick up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've seen.
It's plastic, right?
Yeah.
And it has on it what I would say is, remember the Swingers, the Swinger Beatles? Like it came in a box. It's like like the Swingers that you put on top of the cake.
Yeah.
That's what I believe they were copying on the top
based
of this.
on. Yeah. That's cool.
But because it's got pull like left-handed, like this, you know, like it's the Beatles.
That is awesome. That's definitely a Beatles knockoff. That is. It was Fudgy. Sorry, I looked it up. Fudgy the Whale.
Fudgy the Whale.
Yeah.
They still have Fudgy the Whale.
They still have Fudgy. Wow, I'm sure it's a classic. I guess. That was. It's been a long
the
time.
last thing I want to show you.
Yeah.
See chili with beans?
Yeah. Whoa.
See?
Yeah. Wow.
Now,
that is
okay.
Cool.
So what year is this? It says significant moments with Vietti. Lunchtime Abbey Road, London, 1969.
Wow.
Okay. Now this is from 2003. But I buy these cookie Beatle related items.
Yeah. That's cool. I don't get much of the newer food, but I do if it's cool like that. I would totally jump all over something.
You know
like
what it
that.
is?
Yeah.
2003 was once last year. Now it's 22 years.
I know, it's like that's totally true. But yeah,
like you see me opening up these boxes now, right?
Yeah.
It's like the pictures for this guy that I'm opening them up for. They're like 22 years old.
I know, yeah. You're gonna find like Burry's cookies in there or something amazing.
I hope so. And you and I are gonna have a little party.
Yeah, no, it's like unbelievable.
Except for one thing, we're gonna be breaking out the bucks. That's the problem.
That's for sure. Yes, that's right. It's like unbelievable.
But I'll make sure if I find any of these things, you're on the top of the pile with Mikey.
All right, I appreciate that. And I know some of the stuff you're looking for, like the Rice Krispies. Yeah. I know who to
Yeah,
call. Like
yeah.
if I see that ever anywhere, for sure.
Gus, I
Um,
really appreciate you doing this with me. I had
no,
a good
thank you,
time.
Mikey. I've had a
And
blast. It's fun.
and Gus, I know also the people on
Yep.
Beatlebelia and the
Yeah.
people on Facebook where they see these groups. When I post this, they're going to get a kick out of it because they know you. You know,
Yeah.
they know
Yeah.
you in the comments and the postings you've been doing, because that's
Yeah.
really how I learned about you through Beatlebelia, probably indirectly
Yeah.
through Phil, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so I
Yeah, that's a
appreciate
fun group.
the opportunity.
I love that group is awesome. I mean, it's they've done a great job of like um just creating, not all the groups are that way, but it's just,
Right.
just high content. It's just
Yeah,
like the quality of the
I know.
discussion and just great people there. I mean, I just, yeah, it's been a
The
fun
only thing
group.
that
So
annoys me is every time I think I have something good, he tells me it's a fake. You know,
but they're,
I
I mean,
just think I
yeah,
found the
although
holy grail. Okay, like I'm going to show you something, not
yeah,
on
yeah,
here. I didn't get it yet. I
yeah, yeah,
bought something on eBay like last week. Okay,
yeah,
I know it's not like a licensed item. Okay,
yeah,
but it's definitely 50 years old. Okay,
yeah,
and I'll show it to you another time because I don't have
yeah,
it yet. But
yeah,
they're gonna tell me, it's no good. It's no good. No, it's good to me. I
yeah,
like it, and but it's when you see this thing, it's like it's a weird item.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like this is a weird item.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
into it.
That's funny.
Yeah,
It's funny.
yeah.
I one time I showed way back a couple of years ago, I showed Phil something that I thought might have been fake, and he said, "Oh no, that's real. There's no reason to
Oh,
think
wait
that
a minute,
would."
wait a minute. I'm gonna tell you
The
that.
opposite.
That's why I get very excited. I want to show you this
Yeah,
last item.
yeah.
Look,
Oh, yeah.
Beatles cigarettes. Okay.
Yes.
Now here's the thing. I thought this was bull, okay, not real.
Yeah, yeah,
They tell me this is from France, okay?
yeah.
French cigarettes. I hope
That
they're
is
right because
that is awesome.
this is a crazy, not quite edible, but they're
Yeah,
sealed packs, right? I got
yeah.
all 4 Beatles, and this is the case it came in. Of
That
course,
is
Michael just
awesome.
dropped it. Yeah, but I thought originally somebody made these or something, but
Yeah,
they
yeah,
tell me
yeah.
on Bealebelia's site that these are real. So I'm all excited.
Wow, wow. Yeah, those are great. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously unlicensed, but they're amazing. I mean, they're
Yeah, yeah. Well,
1960s
listen,
period cigarettes like of the Beatles. That's cool.
the only thing Mikey's got going for him is he's got a lot of weird stuff.
No, I
Okay?
love the weird. I love the weird stuff. I mean, you have very good taste in. I mean, the stuff you unbox, like most of the time, I'm like, that is cool. Like, it's just, yeah, it's. I just
Well,
love
you
the
know what I try and
memorabilia.
do? I try and put in
Yeah,
at least 1 or 2 things, like I say, that a collector like you are going to hang around
yeah,
to
yeah,
see
yeah.
what is Mikey going to open. Okay,
Yeah,
because I also want the show to appeal to a new generation.
yeah,
Where as we die off, there's some new people coming into this thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah.
cool.
But once again, Gus, thanks so
Yeah,
much, man.
oh no,
And
happy to be
I'm
on it.
going to stop the recording, and then
Yeah.
we'll hang out. All right.
All right, sounds
So
good. Thanks, Mikey.
take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everyone.